Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we jump onto the charts, because the market is open on this beautiful Wednesday, April 30th, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. If you trade, you're probably going to lose all your money. Read CFTC. Oh, sorry. I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I don't provide suggestions or recommendations of any kind. This is for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41, which is what I was jumping to, on simulating trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures and code RDF. That gets you the best deals right now. Let's hop on to the charts. MES. We are looking at the S&P 500 futures. This is the micro chart. I am here on Project X. This is 350K straight to funded Top 1 futures accounts. Daisy chained together. Got the 15-minute chart loaded up. Same stuff that you see from me almost every damn day here. I make small adjustments in between, but some pretty gnarly selling pressure coming right back down to the 5500s so far. This is going to be an interesting one today, guys. This is really going to be an interesting one. I'm interested to see if we start to break this level. We're at a real pivotal point right here. We've returned to prior week volume point of control. Obviously, this level was tested multiple times. It's also the temporary volume point of control right down here. And a big round psychological number, right? I'm sure everybody and their mother is looking at the 5500s. Obviously, this market did not like the news that dropped this morning. We had red folder news, multiple red folder news. We have some more at 10 a.m. But here we are starting to break through, man. Continuing to push low, putting lows of the day in, breaking through overnight low and this point of control. We are below. You can see, obviously, all of yesterday's range, yesterday's high and low right here, the volume profile for yesterday. And we are testing the lows of this area of consolidation we've been hanging out at. Caught this nice long yesterday. I know I jumped off the stream a couple times this week for one for an L, one for a win. So I'm about 50-50 doing that. But I held this bad boy all day yesterday, all the way up to this level, near this level that I was targeting. Took profit somewhere in this area consolidation right before the close, which I called out in Discord. Let you guys know what I was doing multiple times. So let's look at the daily real quick. I'm watching this because we could start to move from here pretty quickly, but as you guys know, I don't like to jump in on the first couple minutes of the open. Just think that's a kind of a volatile time to trade. I like to give it at least 15 minutes, at very least 15 minutes, and then even then getting involved in the right after the first 15 minutes can be dicey. So looking at the daily chart while we're waiting for the market to start to open up, and we're selling off, not going too high time frame all the way back here, but we know what happened coming off of these lows, right? We formed this really nice bullish structure through last week, really just forming a bunch of bullish bars, gap up right here, continuing to push highs without sweeping prior bar lows except for down here. So really bullish structure up until today, right here, right now, where we failed to get above yesterday's high. We didn't, blast through the 5600s. Sellers stepped in and kept us below that level. We didn't drift in the overnight session, and now we've really aggressively started to sell off on this high impact news. Now, higher time frame perspective can be helpful just to understand kind of what's going on, top-down analysis. Do I use this exclusively in my trading, staring at the 15-minute chart, going for these smaller moves? No, of course not. And I like to repeat that because some guys go, oh, don't worry at all about the higher time frame. I think it's helpful just to have a reference. So, and not speculate like crazy, but say, if this, then probably that, right? And if, which we are doing, we're testing these lows, right? This area of consolidation, because although we formed bullish structure, this was pretty gnarly back and forth price action. And this level right here, the 5500s here on this current contract, was acting as a really strong area, right? Look at how many times we were tested here, although we came above it. Right there to the T we tested before big impulsive move to the downside. We found a lot of resistance right there, failed to break above it at all, and pulled way back off. Once we finally did, we tested it as support multiple times. So this is a major level, really major level. We're at it right now and trying to come through it. I'm interested to see on the 15-minute what starts to happen down here. I don't know that we just blast through this to the downside. If we do, that would really indicate sellers are here taking this thing lower and we got room to go. I would expect we find some buyers. We transact here for a while. We try to find some support, at least pull back before we sell off if we are going to. Or, which I think a lot of guys have their eye on, great buying opportunity, right? We're testing this level again. If this does hold, beautiful way to structure risk for a large move to the upside, especially for not just trading futures, right? Higher time frame stuff. So we got some news that's coming on pretty soon. So off the daily, back down to the 15. The market's been moving so damn much, as I've been talking about. I've been enjoying trading the 15. I really have, which is crazy to say because I do look for smaller movements. It's gotten me caught in some trades all damn day, but I can hold the trade. That's fine. It paid me nicely yesterday. And the 1 minute chart has just been pretty wild to work on. When you get movement like this, I find it very difficult. I think it can provide great opportunity, but also great risk. So I also just trust what my data is showing me. Zooming out, wider stop, wider take profit has helped me. It's generated more wins, more green P&L. So long as I can keep myself from fat fingering anything or doing anything, really just touching my phone to trade, which I have to do sometimes if I'm managing these trades in the 15 minute. Been working out pretty solidly. Anyway, so watching this sell off, right? So just continuing analysis. Overnight session, right? We closed up near the highs, sold off a bit, continued this sell-off really smoothly through the overnight session. We found buyers into Asia and London, right? Especially into London. And then that reversed. We came back up, put our overnight high in right here, just above these highs, not quite back to the prior day high. And we really aggressively sold off on this red folder news, continuing to sell off right now. We are coming into this 10 a.m. where we have one more set of red folder, one more piece of red folder news here. But obviously the market did not like this at all. So, do we continue it? Does this add fuel to the fire? Is this positive? Does the market interpret this as positive and we get some buyers that step in here? I don't know. Right now, this looks very weak, obviously, right? I don't have to be a genius to tell you that this looks extremely weak. We're down below this area here. If I zoom out on the 15 minute and prior weeks volume point of, fixed range volume profile, the next area that I'd be looking at to the downside would be way down here, 100 points below that 5,500 level, back down to the 5,400s. Now, we could certainly do that. I'm going to mark it on my chart. Yeah, this is a clean level that I'm going to be paying attention to. So top end of that zone is going to be a little bit above the 5,400s, but we start to find quite a bit of volume there. You can see last week's volume profile. It's close to being the volume point of control all the way down here. So if we break through, if we continue breaking to the downside, I think we're headed down to this area very quickly. If we don't find buyers around this level here, just looking at the volume profile, which I really start to rely on after we break through structure like this, I think we're headed quickly down to the 5,400s. This is a gnarly sell-off into the open. Obviously, a large daily candle forming. Negative cumulative volume delta. Looking at bookmap, we do have. It's not terribly thin above, and it's fairly thin below. We don't have a ton of orders on the way down here. We don't have a bunch sitting on the book down here, but that could really just indicate that buyers are nowhere to be found down here. We have quite a bit of sell orders above, which I think could generate a pullback. But this looks really weak and not something that I'll be looking to get long on from down here. I think from this level, you got a long right here setting up. I don't know that I would take it before news, but you got a long from down here setting up. Why, right? Clean way to structure risk. Either we're going to pop back to this area of high volume. Now that my chart's resetting, we pop back to this area of high volume, or we continue to blast through all the way down to these 5,400s. We're starting to find some buyers here. If you were really a counter trend trader, an exhaustion trader, that would be a play for you, right? Oftentimes we break and retest before we continue the downside. I would not look long on that. It's way too counter to me. Obviously, sellers are in the market today, overpowering buyers and taking this thing lower. But this is an interesting spot on the chart for sure. This was an interesting spot. Now we blasted through outside of this area after consolidating for a bit. We're down at kind of last ditch before the 5400s. I don't know why we would come down to like the 50s without just continuing the move. So gun to my head first, I would run this long, super duper counter back up to this area. We continue to break through. I would be short down towards the 5400, generating either a start of a gnarly downtrend in this, higher time frame view, or a really, really serious pullback to take everybody out that's getting long, the longer holds, and then generate a move to the upside. But looking for today, initially I'd be looking short on this, obviously, way down below every level that I have, down below VWAP, no serious pullback. Buyers really can't be found. Again, clean way to structure risk. So, I would look long on this back up towards overnight low, prior week volume point of control, off of this area of high volume, this high volume node. You can see it when I zoom out, right? You can see it on last week's volume profile, testing this level right here. Could throw a zone right here, but that's kind of cherry picking it. But if we blast through, man, I think we're headed to 5400, which would be a big move. Big move. But appreciate you guys hopping on, man. Welcome to the show. If you're new, I appreciate you being on. If you are old, what's up? Welcome back. What's going on? Coop, what's going on? Batman Save the Trenches. What's up, Keith? You guys in your names are funny. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Nice, Dre. Rebrand. Thank you, man. Glad to know. If I followed that same 15-minute rule, would have avoided a big red day. Sorry to hear it. Yeah, man. The first 15 minutes is gnarly, dude. It's so volatile, And if your stats show that you should be getting involved and trading right into the open, then do it. But if your stats show like more losses than the average when you trade with the first 15 minutes, it begs the question, why you're doing it, right? It just begs the question why you continue to put risk on during that time frame when your edge is just not as present, or maybe not present at all. What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Late to the party. What's up? What party? It's a massacre. Happy hump day. Damn, I got called old. Big payday. Nice. Very nice. Top wick to short. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, no, listen, guys. Nobody's old, right? It's all about your spirit, right? Young at heart.
With Asana, AI teammates can help level up your...
Let's not get an ad running in here. Yeah, man. So I don't have a setup on this right off the bat. Again, like I said, gun to my head, long right off of this area. This would be a really, really obvious spot to be looking. I don't like to trade this counter at all. If I was taking longs counter, I probably would have done it already up here. But I'm cherry picking, right? This is an after the fact zone, but you can see where it would come from. Volume profile, very, very simple. It would be really an entry at a level. Maybe you wait for just a little bit of buying pressure to step in. But it would be super counter, and trying longs like that, you're kind of trying to pick a bottom, right? So it could be difficult, right? Because who says this one holds and we don't come down here, or to the more prominent level, all the way down here. Yeah, 5430s, we could find some buyers there first, but I'd be looking down here just based on last week's price action and structure. So again, I'm not going to cherry pick a zone. I'm not going to leave that there. I'm looking at this short, man. I don't know that I want to trade ahead of this 10 a.m. news. I really would prefer not to. It's a tough one because we moved so much already that if I am looking short, I don't know how much more we're likely to extend, but I'm going to try to flow with this market and not completely try to find the reversal point and just fade an insanely weak movement out of these markets. But I'm going to be stuck waiting. I don't want to trade ahead of this. We got 10 minutes to red folder news. Obviously, the market's moving on news today. I don't want to trade ahead of it. It just turns into more of a gamble with volatility changing. It's okay to do, right? If your stats support that, go for it. For the most part, on news like this, I wouldn't be too worried about it. That's not a major one. But I don't have a setup that's forming right here, right now. And with large movement on earlier news, maybe I anticipate that we get more large movement. So in an instance where we had a really beautiful setup, maybe, but I don't see it happening right now. Potential ideas as we're watching this market move. Here's my thesis. Potential thesis. Number one, we just find buyers here. That would be thesis number one. I don't think that that's the most probable thing to happen, and I'm not going to trade for that. But we could absolutely find buyers stepping in here around a big high volume area after sweeping below these lows, taking everybody out long, and buyers are stepping in to break this thing higher, right? We did stop on a dime down here after coming down below these lows. So that could be option number one. Not what I'm going to trade for right now. I would need some serious pushing back up, failure to move lower, something along these lines before I would start looking long, right? First, I'd be looking to the downside. Pretty obvious why. I'd look for some kind of a pullback. Anywhere in here would be pretty clean, and then a continuation of the downside. I'd be looking short for a break of lows to continue. Something like this could be okay. Stop loss above the most recent high formed in the downtrend. I wouldn't mind something like that off the 15-minute for a continuation trade. But this bad boy has really blasted lower, man. Here's our 930 bar. Big push to the downside. We found some buyers to pause it here, but looks like we want to run it down. My game plan is going to be wait for 10 a.m., wait for that news, and then form a real strong thesis to trade off of. And if you guys don't know, I'm keeping this one short and sweet. Only going to run it for about an hour. Getting ready to head over to Tampa for that in-person ASFX event. I get to guest speak out there. Going to be really, really cool. Ton of big traders. I'm grateful to be a part of it. I'm excited for that one. A lot to learn, man. A lot to learn. Took the open south. Got a nice 16. Very nice. Yeah, big movement, right? Very, very nice. Batman saved the trenches. Nice, man. Nice 4.2K. Very nice. Entering shorts on NQ. Rejection of 528. Wish it was there. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, for the next one, man. When you guys, I'm sure you guys will see it. Austin runs some of these in-person deals. They're not too frequent, but it's pretty cool. For this one, he invited a bunch of guest speakers, right? It's not my show. It's cool to just be out there and get to yap for a little bit. But, I'm really excited to network with a bunch of guys, right? Everybody that goes out to these things are obviously serious about their trading, serious enough to, take time out of their day and lives to go and get together. So I'm excited, man. And he's got a bunch of guest speakers, a lot of big traders, right? So I always approach this stuff with and a learning type of a mindset, right? I think there's plenty to take away from everybody, even if it's different perspective and kind of negates the way that you think or the way that you trade. There's something to be learned from that. Yeah, man, this looks super weak, guys. Super weak. Maybe on another day, I'm taking this short right here. Why not today? Red folder news. Right, I'm just not going to I don't find the need to jump in before this data release. I'm not going to do it. I think we could see a nice pop up on it, or we could see a blast lower, and I don't want to gamble that. I don't know how much volatility we're likely to see. Nothing could happen. It could be absolutely nothing. But I'm not going to jump in right before that. But on another day with so much weakness, I like this short. I like this short with stops up above for a continuation down, breaking below this low. The market really selling off down towards the 5,400 level. Again, not a ton of liquidity. We're just starting to get some at the 20s. Yeah, this is starting to build. So I'm going to use a ray like I did yesterday. We're just starting to get some down here. We got 100 at 25 and then another 150 at 20. So I'm going to throw this up at the 25s. That would just be some bookmap liquidity. If we continue to the downside, that would be a pretty easy target, right? Looking left, we don't have anything recent for this current week. Coming into last week, we broke below this low. Next area would be way down here, but I could see us starting to find some buyers at the top end of this volume because they're stacking up down here right now. Again, man, decision-making point. We break through this area right here, come through this 15-minute low with some force, right? We start to head, let's say, towards the 50s. I think we're coming down quick. Conversely, a lot of liquidity, not a lot, but decent amount of liquidity up above, decent amount of orders on Bookmap. I'm not showing you it just because I want to be able to watch this market start to move on news in about 4 minutes. 4 minutes to red folder news, but I will show you briefly afterwards. Yeah, I'd like a retest of 5,500. That would be beautiful for a trade to the downside, but I don't know that we get it. I don't know that we get it. On another day, I'm short on this, but I'm not going to do it before news. Not my play. You could go short with a stop loss just above this, pullback right here. You could run it pretty reasonably with a stop loss wide, like way above this area, and still grab a 1-to-1. You could allow a retest of the 5,500s, maybe, a pullback up into this consolidation. You could really run a wide trade. I think that's much wider than what most guys, including myself, really want to do. That's just a lot for a stop loss. So it would really look like that bad boy right there. Not that I run trades with that high of a risk to reward, but that's what would be looking like for this one. Your 1-to-1 would be almost paying right now based on that last break. But again, red folder news coming out. I don't want to get involved right before it. Too much movement, way too much movement, not clean enough risk structure. Keeps me out. But I think we're going to sell off here. Obviously, right? What a crazy call to make that we're going to continue to sell off. Breaking below this low, breaking below this area of high volume, headed into the 50s. We could see a very quick movement down here. Very quick. I'm going to watch what happens on this news. We might move. We're moving before it. But what would have been nice is if we pulled back on news, buyers failed to take it higher, and then we continued down with some force. That would get me in short right after news pretty quickly with a clean invalidation point, but I don't think we're going to do it. We're getting the move very quick right off the open, right? Just immediate shorts off of the first 15 minutes would pay. Red folder news is going to keep me out. I know I'm repeating myself on that one, but this one's a little bit painful to watch because I do like it short, but I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Dre got short. Nice, Dre. Yeah, man. May the odds be in your favor, right? Ryan, good morning. What's going on, guys? Appreciate you hopping on. If you guys don't know, this is Top 1 Futures. Let's get the plug going. First off, I'm affiliated and partnered with Top 1 Futures. I can't be unbiased on something I stand to make money on, but I'm super bullish on this, guys. Super bullish. Here's Top 1 Futures, 55% off and anytime payouts right now with code RDF if you want to check it out. Project X, straight to funded, no evaluation, pretty damn sweet. But we are about a minute and a half to red folder news. I would structure your risk if you are in a trade, guys. Be cautious. Market's likely to move. We'll see what we get out of this one. Ralph in a short with a stop in the green. Just wait for a retest. Yeah. Yep. Move your TP down. Yeah. Waiting. I want to do both. Last week, a lot of bears were in this area, right? But bulls won. Waiting to see how the market moves after news. Yeah. Yep. I'm stuck waiting on this one, guys. A breakout. Looking for a breakout trade, a continuation of the downside on another day where there's no news. That's my setup. I'm in. I took a very similar trade on. I can't remember if it was Monday of this past week or Friday of the week before, where I did jump in very quickly after the first big bullish move because we had so much momentum coming into the open that, I'm comfortable doing it, usually with like half risk. But here we go, about 20 seconds to red folder news. Get ready. Let's see if the market has a reaction to this. Sometimes it's nothing, right? Sometimes it's kind of just like not a lot. Let's see it. Algos are off of Bookmap, getting nice and dark. Do we blast to the downside? Not yet. Not yet. We got some volume being traded. Algos are back on the book. Not a ton out of that. Not a ton out of that, but not immediately to the downside. Not immediately pushing the downside. Initially, a very, very small pop relative to what we've had over the last 30 minutes of this session. Yeah, so let's see if we get a pullback up here. If we get a retest, it'll give me a way to structure risk and look short on this. But again, we failed to really blast through the downside of this area of high volume. We just came to check it out. No, we did come through it pretty quickly. This would be the area that I'm watching for a retest. Really wouldn't want to stop loss below this if I'm structuring it pretty wide, but we're pulling back right now. So again, guys, looking short on this, waiting for this, whatever's going to happen right here to develop, and then potentially look to get short on this bad boy. Yeah, orders up at 54.95. Buy orders stacking right below. So we got some people getting involved here. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting, boys and girls. Again, I'm not a fan of longing on something like this until we had just a little bit more structure. If I felt it was going to be a very choppy day, and I would trade it with somewhat of a reversal mindset. But after a just huge bearish move, I'm not the guy that just likes to start buying the bottom or trying to buy the bottom. So I'm going to wait to see what we get on this one. Yeah, I like this short, guys. I like this short. Buyers stepped in on that. Obviously, that news was not fuel to the fire to the downside. Man, I wish we had more to the downside and less to the upside on Bookmap, because it's just a little bit conflicting. But I like this short, and I'm going to get ready to take it if we continue to the downside. My first one would be pretty aggressive. I'd probably not wait for a retest to this 5,500 level. I just want to see if this does start to continue. Otherwise, I'm going to look to take it short on a breakout down towards this level here. We do have orders all the way back up here. This would be a clean break and retest of this level to look short. So it's not a terrible idea to wait. The double-edged sword is if we just start to break. Yeah, we got buyers feeding into this, man. If we just start to break and you're not looking short on it, obviously, you miss the entire move. Decent amount of volume being traded down here on the book. A lot of orders coming on and off. Yeah, a lot of buyers getting involved at that 54.67 level. I know I'm not showing you guys Bookmap. I got it over to the side so I can kind of watch both myself because I'm getting ready to make a trading decision here. So bear with me. All right, coming back down to this 67 level again. Yeah, this one's gonna be interesting, man. Popping off of that level again. This one's gonna be interesting. You know, higher time frame thesis of the day, right? Do we pull all the way back up and then continue the downside? Do we just reverse from here and this is just gonna be a clean out and then we form an insanely, you know, bullish candle on the daily with a long wick to the downside? Or are we actually gonna continue selling off, you know, down towards this these next levels down here, the 54 25s? The market has been really, really strong, and it's been a buy the dip type of a deal. You can tell it from most of my trading being longs. Like, really, I've really been hard pressed to short this thing, just because we've been running up. But on a day like today, I'm not going to be bashful shorting it. I just don't know if we're going to get a big pullback on this before we start to move to the downside. I'd love a move towards the 54.80s that we're getting right now, and then a continuation back down towards this low here, and I would look short on that. I can show you bookmap now since I'm not going to jump in. We have some liquidity up here. I've been watching this level. I don't know who's messing around down here, but this level is really interesting to watch as well. This is level 2 data. This is order flow. If you guys don't know what we're looking at here, seems complicated. It's not. It's pretty simple once you start to just watch it play out. I'd be looking at a movement down towards this level of liquidity. Oh, here we go. Back down through it to try it again. We got some orders up here, about 150 on the book, but I don't know that those hold. Yeah, I'm looking at this short. Looking at this short. Couldn't grab the 80 though. That sucks. Couldn't grab the 80s. Yeah, you know, this is a tough one, right? So I could take this somewhat aggressively short from down here, looking for this move to just continue with no real pullback, or wait and potentially miss this breakout to the downside. I'm gonna go ahead and try this one short, guys. I think that's my game plan. I'm just watching order flow to make this kind of split-second decision here. There's a lot at 67, and I want to see what starts to happen. I don't know if these buyers are going to step in, so I want to see these 54.67s here in ES traded out before potentially jumping into this, because it's been holding. We've come into it multiple times. Yeah, can we go grab the 80s and then get a really gnarly rejection? That would be really nice for me. That would be pretty nice. There we go. Continuing to pull back up on this one. All right, so we're coming into some sell orders here, right into the 80s. Let's see if we get some rejection or if we just start to blast through this to the upside to the 5500s. I was getting ready for a short if we really started to come back down towards that low. That was finger on the trigger right here. Now I'm going to wait patient, at least for right now, just to start to see what happens up here. We get a 15-minute bar trading above prior bar high. Yeah, guys, I think I'm going to look short on this from down here. I like the way this is looking on Bookmap. I'm going to look short on this with a wide stop. We're either going to continue to the upside from here and just turn this into a massive reversal, or we are going to continue this move to the downside. So I'm going to look short on this. I'm going to go fairly wide stop, like way up here, like way outside, because I'm not waiting for any continuation to the downside. We could easily come back up, check out the 500s, check out VWAP. I want to be dead wrong. This is probably going to be one trade for the day type of a deal for me. So I'm going very wide on the 15-minute with this one. I'm also going to be hopping off the live coming up pretty soon, so I want to allow this thing some room to work. To the downside, targets would be a continuation, breaking out and continuing this move to the downside. But I'm in short 3 from 54.76. Stop at 55.33. Way away from price. Not full risk, not quite full risk, but a considerable amount in these accounts. I'm running a really wide stop to get started, and looking for a movement to the downside all the way down to these levels. I think this could play out to be a really nice trade if we do continue. And again, if we continue to pull back to the upside, I want to see if we find sellers here, see if we find sellers around prior day low, testing above this level, and, you know, not get stopped out until I'm way wrong up here, right? Again, if this is the play, I'm creating a thesis here, right? I don't think we're likely to chop right here, right? I think we're at a decision-making point. We've been continuing to the downside. Whoa. We're continuing to the downside, right? We're breaking and retesting, still showing sellers to the downside, pulling back up, finally getting a little bit of a retest above prior bar high. I like the way this looks on Bookmap. Sellers were stacking up orders just above, really feeding into the market right above. The orders that were up at this level started to come off and get moved down. That's showing me sellers want to get involved. We have liquidity to the downside all the way through the 25s. I like that. I like that for a move to the downside. And again, if I'm dead wrong from down here, this is the buy play and we take off to the upside. We completely erase this move, like I talked about, which is a potential. We turn this from a from a gnarly bearish bar. Get rid of some of these arrows, just looking at the daily with you. We turn this from a gnarly bearish bar into a complete reversal. We come way back up here, long wick to the downside, and this turns into a big bullish move, which is absolutely possible. But for now, right here, very weak, very bearish, down below VWAP, down below every level. I'm entering on a pullback, looking for a continuation. Do we get that? I don't know. We're fixing to find out, as the kids say in the South. Yep, to the downside, looking at targets again. To the upside, gonna get stopped. To the downside, looking at this 54.25 level, not taking profit at any specific point. Probably not something that I'm gonna be able to call out in Discord like I was yesterday, just because I am traveling. But you'll know I'll be looking to take profit somewhere down in between the 25s to the 400s if we continue in this direction. Right now, continuing to pull back up around this 5,500 level. That's my play, guys. That's my trade. Oh, there we go. Thank you for the heads up. I almost always have that down. Thank you. You can also see the P&L running right here, my fine friend. But now you can see exactly what accounts I'm on. Can we see it now? You can see what accounts I'm on and all that fun stuff. So, guys, on that note, what's up? What's up, Jose? What's up, everybody? Smash the like, smash subscribe. Like I said, I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. We're either going to see this play out in my favor or continue back up and really reverse on the day, blast above VWAP, find some strength. I'll keep you guys updated to the best of my abilities, but I'm traveling. Keeping this one short and sweet today. I appreciate you hopping on. Thank you for being here. I'm going to wrap it up right here, right now. Next week, 2 straight to funded 50K account giveaways on the stream. That's the game plan. Hop on the stream, random days, random times. You got to be on here. I'll drop the form. You fill it out. No purchase necessary. You're in for one of 2 50K straight to funded accounts. Talk to you guys soon. Trade well. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing you see or hear from me here is financial advice. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Trading is extremely risky. Almost everybody that trades loses money. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links in my content. Talk to you guys soon. Again, this is a third one that I got to hop off. Yesterday, I really kept you guys updated. Again, to the upside for me would be a loss. I widened that just a hair as I was talking to you guys. 55.39 and a quarter. Above VWAP, blasting back above prior day low. I'm going to be out for the L. That's probably the only trade that I'm going to get on for today. To the downside, again, I'm looking at 54.25s to 5400 for a potential target, next area of high volume. Talk to you guys soon. See you next week. I'm live in Tampa for the rest of this week, so no lives here on YouTube, but back at it Monday, 9:30. If you don't know, I also run a 100% free Discord. More than happy to see you guys in there. Not a VIP feeder program. I'll catch up with you guys there. Talk to you soon. Trade well, friends.